So in December 2021, I was asked to review some gameplay footage from one of my viewers named Million. They're running Iron Maiden, Blood Warden, Bittermember, Barbecue and Chili. It's basically kind of the same build that I run on Huntress. And I'm finally going to review their gameplay an entire year later. I've been very busy with editing. So hopefully this helps you guys out. And I'm going to review how they play Huntress and what they can improve. And yeah. So for their first hatchet, it seems like they're they want to throw like as fast as they possibly can. They got the timing right? They're trying to catch the survivor off guard. They see the survivor not looking behind them. They're trying to predict what they're going to do by aiming ahead of what they're going to do. But I think that Million could really use a little bit of one of two things. Million could either use like a crosshair for sure, or maybe they could use the Huntress player model to actually find where the center of their screen is so that they could hit their shots more accurately. So the top of the axe is the horizontal center, and the vertical center is the center of the W and throw a hatchet. Perfectly reasonable to M1. I feel like a lot of Huntresses feel shamed to M1. You'll probably improve a lot slower if you M1, but there's nothing wrong with M1ing a survivor. Nancy is going through the center shack in Ormond. That's fine. So what Million did there was they aimed to the right because they think the survivor's going to dodge right. They missed. And they might be hard on something like, oh my god, I missed this shot. No, you predicted what they're going to do. Sometimes you're wrong with the prediction. It's fine to miss, especially predictions. That's how you figure out how to get better. You kind of make these mistakes and kind of go for those shots that may hit and that you're predicting. The only way to get good at predictions is to keep making more of them. So I want to emphasize, missing like this is not a bad thing. This is a good shot if you can time it right. Yeah. So right there, Million was trying to hit a shot through the window. That's an incredibly difficult shot to do on Shack. Arguably the hardest shot to do on Shack. And they missed. That's completely fine. Because the only way to get better at shots like that is to keep going for them. This is why I keep telling people that use extra hatchet add-ons. Million's using Okaft and Babushka, and that's perfectly fine. But if you want to improve faster at Huntress, especially if you're new to Huntress, you want to use extra hatchets because that will give you more opportunities to go for more shots. The more shots you take, the more you learn. Contrary to popular belief, the more shots you take, the better you get over time. But the only way you don't improve is if you beat yourself up like, damn, I should have hit that. Damn, I fucked up. If you're beating yourself up over these missed shots and not like learning, then it's going to hurt you more than help you. It's a nice solid pallet shot. I'm assuming that Million's fairly new to Huntress at the moment with this footage because it seems like they're throwing as soon as they possibly can. Throwing the hatchet when you can throw it immediately is a good way to develop muscle memory to her base kit. You get better at it. That's actually how I learned how to play Huntress. I started playing more based on impulse and things how it feels right. And then you start learning the timings over time. I want to emphasize, missing is what makes you better. That's how you learn. There's no other. How do you learn how to hit your shots? You need to miss. You really do. Trying to practice a prediction, trying to practice hitting. You see the person's aura, practice the timing. All these little cake layers start adding up little by little by little. Million's practicing timing, predictions. And you may be missing a lot, but that's how you learn how to do things correctly. Unhook. Forward time. This was an old Dead by Daylight, not the new DVD. Waiting out dead hard. A nice little flick. So in a game like this is very rough. All the survivors gotten all the gens done. There are 4 survivors alive. It's important to realize that it's okay to lose because the thing that makes you better is losing. Losing actually helps you progress, right? It helps you progress faster. So losing is literally just part of the process. Everyone has been in this situation before when they first play a killer or killer at all. Nice try in a prediction. You're working with experimenting with like new things. That's important. That's good. Thought you're going to go to the left. She was running into the wall right there. When you chase a survivor, it's good to realize, okay, this is how this survivor moves. This is how this survivor moves. That Kate there, if she was running into a wall, it's like, okay, she doesn't really see where she's going. Maybe we're going to use that against her in the future. I think Million's holding out for a Blood Warden play. They're trying to get the Blood Warden timing down. It's like you're driving a car on the highway one way, you make a U-turn, and all of a sudden the game's going the complete other direction instantaneously. You need way more time on this. You're probably gonna get a 4K Blood Warden here. When survivors do this, it's yeah, and then they commit like that. They it's really good. In this situation, I would pick up the Dwight and then hook someone. Yeah, hook, pick up the Dwight. Yeah, that's the 1 minute mark. If you hook here, 100%, they all dead. They're all dead, no matter what. Good shit, good shit. I'm assuming Ian hooks everyone, and it's a nice, clean match. So I'm going to review a second match from Million. I hope this helps you guys with Huntress a little bit. Million's doing something that I like to say a lot. You want to predict where the survivors are going to go. Million sees Jake going from left to right, so Million aims in front of Jake instead of on Jake, because that's the direction they're going. You want to treat survivors almost as if they're not going to change directions when they're just doing that. Sometimes when you're against a good player though, they will change directions. You have to anticipate. It's basically going to be a game of footsies where you're trying to out-predict your opponent. Sometimes when players get better and better and better. The higher up you go in MMR these days, the harder it becomes to predict, because people expect these types of hatchets more often. It's just good to aim ahead of where you think the survivor's going to go and not worry too much about the mind games. So I think it was Michaela that docked. Very difficult shot. I think you can hit over those bars. Nice solid window shot. The reason why some people preach that Bamboozle and Brutal Strength is good on Huntress, I'll be real with you, I don't think it is. Just because for Huntress, those window shots, those pallet shots, when they drop a pallet, when they vault a pallet, when they vault a window, those should be free Huntress hits for you, regardless. If you're using Bamboozle, you're playing Huntress like she's an M1 killer. You're chasing the survivor. The whole reason why Huntress has a long distance ability is so that you can hit people from far away, from people out of reach. If you're running Bamboozle, you're running, or Brutal Strength, you're running perks to get closer to the survivor. Why try to get closer to the survivor when you can just down them from afar? Counterintuitive to Huntress. This is just like a basic thing. If you usually want to pick people up really fast from when they go under a pallet, just so like the team can't position themselves to go for a pallet save, that's fine. That's just like a mistake here and there. Next time you can check to see if the survivor's around. The way I normally do it is I just kind of intuitively be like, I feel like someone's around here. I check around. Sometimes I get pallet stuns, sometimes I don't. Sometimes I'm right about where I think someone is. I played for thousands of hours, so I have that type of like intuition for that. Going for a little bit of an arc shot there. Okay. Yeah. Going for shots like that are really nice. The most important part about beginning on Huntress is doing what Million's doing, which is experimenting. Finding out what shots you become like you're comfortable with, what shots hit. And the more you go for certain shots, the more comfortable you get and the more crazy shots you start hitting. Right now, there are two gens left. They have done 3 generators in total, and there are 4 people alive, and Million seems to only have 2 hooks. I generally like to think that a decent pace with an endgame build is having at least, at bare minimum, 1 hook per generator completed. If you don't have that, that's fine. But if you're in that situation, it's going to be like you're in a poor situation to try to come back. Very difficult to come back without that type of pressure. I think in that situation, it's better to pick up Michaela instead of Eugen. It's like just because of the DS. I think that's just like a good practice. If you have 2 people down, just pick up the person that hasn't been unhooked like recently. Trying to see if there's any different shots, because every single shot that you learn in a match is a shot that you can probably use in the future. So it's good to just keep searching and searching. This Michaela looks like she might have tenacity. She was crawling fast. So what I would keep in mind when certain survivors are doing specific things is like, maybe she has flip-flop. Maybe she's going to wiggle 50% faster. So Million's using exhaustion and infantry belt. This add-on combo, in my opinion, is one of the best add-on combos you can run for Huntress. It's kind of my favorite. It's the add-on combo that I used against survivors when the matchmaking system was only competitive. You go against competitive people only. One of the best add-on sets, in my opinion. They also have nerfs dead hard in the new patch, so maybe Glowing Concoction might be better this time around. Camping on hook here. While there's 4 people alive, sometimes there's not much you can do. There's a door right next to you. The survivors are covering on the hook. There's nothing really wrong with camping. This is really playing for kills, though. If you're a beginner Huntress, I'm going to give you the advice of don't really care what the survivors think. If you need to camp, camp. You're new to Huntress, you're learning. If you camp and you're down and all the survivors are alive, this is going to give you more opportunities to learn how to throw more shots anyway. Sometimes you just got to do what you got to do. If people shame you for that, you have to just look at your scenario and be like, there's 4 people alive. It's really difficult. And yeah, it's difficult to come back from a situation like this unless you do something a little dirty, getting your hands wet. I would play for an endgame play here, whether it's trying to murder everybody or go for a Bloodwarden play. Either or works. Okay. Hit Eugen. Trying to hit that person on the door. Jake's doing a little bit of dodging. Million's trying to practice a little bit preemptive throwing. Trying to throw, basically predicting what Jake's going to do. Perfectly fine and reasonable. Dwight's now made it under a pallet. So since you've been stunned in a previous match, you want to be aware of someone coming for the pallet save here. Ideally, in this situation, you down someone else and then pick up another person and not the Dwight under the pallet. Because you don't want to give them an opportunity to get all 4 up and then they all just run out the exit gate. That can be very frustrating. Entree, okay. Hit Dwight. He's off the pallet. Maybe you should pick up now. I think I would have picked up there. Contrary to popular belief. Very nice shot. Holy. See, he was going for that shot over the rails earlier. He missed it. They were ducking. He goes for it again. You messed up? Okay, let's go to the next one. Go to the next shot. We have another setup for a Bloodwarden play here. And I like that Million's going for a lot of arc shots. A lot of Huntresses, when they first start out, they rely heavily on only fully winding up their hatchet. If you go for arc shots, it's way more difficult to go for arc shots, and your hatchets hit the fastest it possibly can when you go for arc shots. That's why I like going for them. But they're incredibly difficult to hit due to air time in the hatchets. Another really solid Bloodwarden play right here. Based on this gameplay, I think Million needs to work on their fundamentals a little bit. Again, this was a year ago, so they may have improved drastically. If I were reviewing someone else who was in a similar position to Million, I would say keep doing this. Keep going for shots, keep experimenting. Don't really worry about kills that much, but try to keep building those layers of cake of hitting more new shots, the timings, angles. I'll leave a link to Million's YouTube channel down in the description below. I hope this helped you guys out, for you beginner huntresses out there. And yeah, if you guys enjoyed this, let me know, and I'll probably make some more of them. And thanks for watching, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it.